Alright, ¿qué onda, vatos? Thanks for tuning into yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again. Here we go. Let's turn this on. Let's see, it is turning on. It's on standby. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Maybe I did something. There we go. Let's see. How do you turn this on? Traction control? I don't know how to turn this on. It's on here. You got it, Jesse? It's on standby or something? What's up? Is it on standby or what's going? I'm holding. Oh, there we go. So this is. So it has to be a neutral. All right, thanks.
That's not a four-way flasher, is it? Why is it flickering?
Maybe once I start going, maybe they'll shut off. Yeah. All right, so I'm not sure what was going on with this. Maybe the kickstand was down. Oh, I think that's what it was. Maybe it was the kickstand being down and not, because I was holding the clutch. I was holding the clutch on this. So this is the Sport Scout. Or yeah, this is the Sport Scout. So this is the new 2025, and this one's of course the new version of the Rogue, the one over there, that purple one, the matte denim purple. So this is that new version of that bike. I'm not sure why the turn signals are pointing like this. It's a little odd. They're pointing they're not forward, but they're LEDs, so I doubt it really matters. So anyways, I was talking to these fellas and I was just mentioning how the hand controls have been changed. The aesthetically, of course, I think I really like how beefier these hand controls look. I also noticed that, of course, the engine also looks, different as well. So they've made little changes. I think this one has a shorter bikini fairing, I believe. So let's see what's gonna happen here. We don't have anybody stopping traffic for us. I believe for the most part, a lot of the other stuff is pretty much the same. I think it's the same 3.3 gallon tank. This doesn't have the sticker on it where it kind of gives you all of the little features and what's new and performance wise. If I can remember off of the top of my head, I don't think this has 100 horsepower. I'm not too sure. Like I said, there's a Sport Scout. I think this probably has the improved performance. I'm not well versed in Indian. That's something that some people complain about. I don't, I'm not an Indian fan. All right, I know enough. I believe I know more than the typical Indian rider. But am I well versed as someone that just owns Indians? No, let's see what we have here so far. Like I said, aggressive, rider positioning. I am over the fuel tank on this one because it's got the risers, but they're really kind of short. It's got, I'd say, probably 5-inch risers with low bend bars. I'm really over the fuel tank on this one. And from what it appears, because I was looking at the other Scouts, it appears that all of them have the forward controls. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like any of these have mid controls. So I wonder if this has riding modes. No, I don't think this has riding modes. So this might be, you do have cruise control on this one, which is neat. I believe you might have ABS on this. Like I said, I don't have the sticker on here, so it doesn't tell me much of anything about the bike. It does have a dash cover, which is, a little bit different from the other ones. little bit of a styling, you know, thing. You could you could really feel the performance on this. All right, I just got off of the Rogue, which is the one up front, which is the lead. He has the Rogue, just got off of that. Of course, that's the 60. So that one has about 79 horsepower. I believe this one might have the 100 horsepower, because this is just standard, and it feels, of course, a lot more responsive, noticeably more responsive than the Scout Rogue. But of course, you guys can see it's got like a flat metallic denim beige color to it, and like most, I think this would be the economy version of the bike, because only the fuel tank is painted. The rear fender and the front fender are both black, which is, you know, typical on a Sportster. That's typically what you get. And even with a Nightster, that's what you get. You get the fuel tank painted, which is not even a fuel tank on the Nightster, and you have, you know, the front and rear fenders are black. So it's still, I mean, it still looks nice. Does it look as nice as the other one? You guys can see the one on my right. That Scout has, you know, the fender and both the fenders and the fuel tank painted, which looks nice as well. You know, that one's more of a metallic denim red or something like that. So neat little colors. Of course, Indian, I think Indian has always been known to offer quite a bit of colors. Harley-Davidson, up until you know, this recent year, that's when they started doing more colors as well. Harley, for the most part, over, you know, quite a few years, the colors were, well, depending on the model, okay? On the Lowrider S and on the STs, there were exclusively, you know, 2 colors every year. Up until this year, of course, like I said, they're offering a little bit more colors, and the colors have always been like an exclusive for which year it is. You have the Crimson Red, which is 2021. You have the Gunship Gray, which is 2022. You have the White Sand Pearl, which is 2023, stuff like that, of course. And they have always offered the black with those models, with the STs and the Lowrider S and stuff like that. So anyways, getting on to, of course, the Scout, the Sport Scout. Like I mentioned in a previous video, I thought when I got on the Rogue, because that one is last year's, I spoke to the event coordinator. He told me that's a 2025. I really don't think he knows, or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain the Scout Rogue was discontinued for 2025. And like I mentioned, it has the old hand controls, this new hand controls. The heads on that Scout Rogue, it's also different. I believe it has a 2024 engine, or the heads aesthetically. So I really believe this is a 2025 version of the Scout Rogue, because it has the similar fairing, styling wise. You know, black fenders, painted fuel tank. Same thing on this one, black fenders, painted fuel tank. But like I said, I really like them. I've been noticing a little bit more Scouts in San Jose. It's just that you know, it's just a sportier version of the Cruiser, and a little bit more of a modern take to it, with the liquid cooled, and, you know, the performance that you get from a liquid cooled V-twin. So here we go, and of course you always get full LEDs. So that, I believe that one's the Scout Bobber. I think PS, no, wait a minute, it doesn't have the ape hangers. If it has the ape hangers, it's a Bobber. If it has some, you know, setup like this, it's a little bit different. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure with the Indians, but I like what they did. The changes, I believe they improved the suspension. It's really tough to, you know, say, because they always change the routes with these demo events, with the Indian ones. That's what I've noticed. It really depends on the lead, so I can't really give a full comparison, because of course, you know, I don't ride these day in and day out. I ride Harleys. And as far as what's it called, as far as, yeah, I mean, my own version of the Indians is going to be completely different from someone that, you know, rides them day in and day out. I only ride them once a year, which is around this time, the demo event. That's the only time I actually ride Indian bikes. And I've always mentioned that I like what they're doing with the riding modes. I like what they're doing with the colors. I like what they're doing compared to, of course, Harley. I've always, you know, mentioned, hey, this Indian has a lot of neat little stuff going for them. So, and it's just nice to see that Harley is responding with their own Revolution Max to combat these Scouts, because they're liquid cooled performance cruisers. Indian now has one, of course. Indian for the long time they've had riding modes. Now you have riding modes on the 2024 models, and I've always been a huge fan of the riding modes. A lot of people thought it was gimmicks until they started riding a 2024 touring model, and they saw the major difference in throttle response when it comes to the riding modes. So the Sport Scout, pretty much, I believe, like I said, I believe this is the standard version of the Scouts. And I mean, if they give you the performance and you don't have the TFT display, you don't have some of the other bells and whistles, the riding modes, I mean, it really depends. But for the most part, if you ask me, it's always, I believe it's always worth the money to kind of upgrade and pay just a little bit more, because a lot of the standard features on the other bikes, I believe, are worth it. It really depends on you. I mean, do you just want a raw feeling sport cruiser? You don't care about the TFT display, you don't care about the riding modes, the improved suspension and the additional performance, then I guess, you know, this could be you. But for the most part, I believe, because that's what these manufacturers do. Harley-Davidson does it, Indian does it. They pretty much incentivize you to kind of spend a little bit more, and I believe they give you enough, or I believe you could justify the price increase for what you're getting, considering that it's already on the bike, it comes standard on the bike, it's also covered under warranty with the factory warranty, and of course, you know, the labor to, you know, do some of these modifications to something like this. If you want a bigger fairing, if you want inverted forks, if you want dual disc brakes. Does this have dual disc brakes? No, it has a single disc brake. You know, stuff like that is really worth spending the additional $3,000 or $4,000, whatever the price difference between this and the 101 or one of the other, you know, higher model you know, Scouts. So as far as rider control, like I said, aggressive. I'm leaning forward. I have a little bit of weight on my shoulders. You could always change that with taller risers, of course. You could always swap that stuff out if you want a little bit more you know, cruised feeling. I'm 5'7", so you guys got to keep that in mind. I'm 5'7", so I'm reaching for the handlebars, and I'm also reaching for the controls. You guys can see, well, my knees aren't, I mean, my legs aren't fully extended. There's a little bit of a bend to them, but it's probably because I have my boots on. All right, I have my boots on today. You know, like I said, for the most part, it's not upright. You know, you're leaned forward, but I mean, it's a sports Scout, so you have to be kind of in the bike, and of course, you also have a bikini fairing or speed screen on this one. So if you want, you know, additional wind protection, you are going to have to lean forward or towards the front of the bike. So we're going to try that out in a short while. We're going to turn right onto the highway, and we'll be able to see what this has to offer when it comes to performance. But so far, I've been pretty happy about the way it responds. Even, like I said, even in just standard mode, I would like to see what this engine does in the sport mode with the 101. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So we'll see what the speed screen can offer as far as wind protection. I've always mentioned that I was surprised with the Sport Chief, that new quarter fairing that they have on that. really did a fantastic job with wind protection and wind buffeting. I was very impressed, considering the Sport Chief windscreen is very short, in my opinion, compared to my Road Warrior, compared to my Burley fairing, and compared to, of course, my Lowrider S speed screen. So here we go. I mean, it is what it is, guys. As far as the wind protection, there isn't any. I'm getting a lot of wind on the chest. There's no wind buffeting, which is quite nice. My helmet's not shaking all over the place. My visor's not rattling, which is nice. So no wind buffeting, just of course wind noise, and you know, just getting beat by the wind a little bit. But it's, you know, it's expected. The bike is pretty raw. It's naked. It's meant to be a motorcycle. You know, that's why they call it wind therapy. But you know, so far it's been fantastic. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to let it rip. That's full throttle right there. So yeah, that's full throttle, and we are on the 4th gear. So that's been pretty good, pretty responsive. I'm not sure what my speed is. So let's see. Does this tell me what speed? It tells me my RPM. Oh, there is a ride mode. Ride mode. So how do you set the ride mode on this one? Oh, is that it? Ride mode? Let's see. And no. Oh, is it this? No, this is my light. I don't know, it feels a little bit more aggressive. So maybe I found the ride mode? I don't know, I'm not sure, but it feels a little bit more responsive. I don't know if this is sport mode. Oh, is that traction control? I am on 5th. I don't know. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't really know. Man, it does feel slightly different. It feels a little bit more aggressive. I'm not sure, because it says ride MD, so I'm guessing that is ride mode. I just don't know how would you set it if it did. So just, you know, hey, like I said, I don't know much about these bikes, but ride mode, maybe it is a little bit more aggressive. It does feel a little bit more responsive. Not as drastic as the Chief Bobber. I think that's what they did. There was a lot of people complaining. About the ride modes on the Bobber back when they released it in 3 years ago, I believe. So I believe they tweaked it down for the Sport Chief, and they probably tweaked it down. Oh yeah, you can really feel the difference now. So this does have a ride mode, and it might be just 2 ride modes, which is probably sport and standard. But you could definitely feel the difference and the throttle response on the ride mode. So anyways, we're gonna get on the 101 next. Life's a risk, get out there and ride. Later.